Hello, welcome to Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. This video we're going to keep looking at Core Set 2019 and we'll move on to look at Liliana the Necromancer, which is a mono-black deck. So let's take a look at the deck list. 21 creatures, 7 sorceries, 5 instants, 26 land, and of course a single Planeswalker. So yeah, a mana curve off to the side there. Let's take a look at Lily. So 3 in double black for a 4 loyalty Planeswalker, which is a little below curve, but yeah, it's okay. She's slightly cheaper. Because normally these are like 6, aren't they? So +1 to make target player lose 2 life, which is that's fine. That's fine, I suppose. -1 to return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Really like it's only a -1 actually. That's really nice actually, because I'm so used to having these Planeswalkers having like -2 or -3. So -1 is really nice just for a raised dead effect. And then her -7, her ultimate, destroy up to 2 target creatures, and then put up to 2 target creatures from graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. So yeah, this is really nice actually. Just obviously you could potentially resurrect the ones that you immediately kill, or bring back 2 of yours, 2 of your dead ones, or any combination you want. So yeah, I really actually quite like the ultimate. That's and it's fairly cheap as well, -7. Will take a while to get up to it though, I suppose. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. Yeah, I like Liliana. She's a good planeswalker, I think. So signature cards. So got 2 Liliana spoils, 3 in a black. Target opponent discards a card, and kind of like all these other M19 search spells. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a black card from amongst them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So yeah, like all the others, doesn't specifically search up Liliana, but it can potentially get something else that might be more useful at the time. So yeah, I think it's okay. Only discarding 1 card though is pretty bad. So this does feel like really expensive for what it does. And then we've got 3 Arisen Gorgons, 1 in double black for a 3/3, has Death Touch as long as you control Liliana Planeswalker. Whatever, it's a 3/3 for 3, like 99% of the time, sure. I like Tattered Mummy a lot more, so 1 in the black for a 1/2. It feels like I've only just like literally looked at this card all the way back on Amonkhet. Yeah, 1 in the black for a 1/2. When it dies, each opponent loses 2 life. Yeah, that's what's not to like about that. Always like it when a little creature like this has a pretty useful little death trigger. So yeah, it's like that. I like that. Right, so one of the rares in the deck. This is the exclusive rare, Gravewaker. I feel like this has been reprinted like a million times. I think it's got like a lot of. It's been reprinted in a lot of kind of other pre-constructed products. So 4 and double black for a 5/5 flyer. So this is actually continuing a theme in these M19 decks of 6 mana 5/5 flyers. I guess each color just needs like obviously the green one doesn't, but like all the other colors just need like I guess a big flyer just to maybe like close out a game, doesn't it? And then this ability for 5 and double black, return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield tap. So just repeatable reanimation effect that doesn't require a tap. I suppose there's that if you hit 7 mana. Yeah, well, I suppose the turn after playing this. Yeah, and then you can start bringing stuff back, and yeah, that's there are worse things to do with 7 mana, I suppose. So then we also got a Demon of Catastrophes. So 2 and double black for a 6/6 flying trample, which is like a really cheap, under cost, 6 mana, 6 power and 6 toughness for 4 mana is really strong. And like the additional cost is you have to sacrifice a creature, which is, guess what? You're playing a deck full of like kind of cheap black creatures that don't matter, that don't actually want to be killed off, and you got ways of recurring them. So this is like barely a cost at all to get a big 6/6 flying trampling demon down on potentially turn 4. So yeah, this is a really nice rare to include. Really like this. And then we've got 2 Vampire Sovereigns, 3 in double black for a 3/4 flyer. When Vampire Sovereign enters the battlefield, target opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. So really big swing here as well as being like a fairly chunky flyer as well. I did sort of mention in the Ajani deck this was a set of decks that I did I have bought and I have sort of played them against friends who aren't really into Magic that much, and against my wife as well. Gotta say, Vampire Sovereign actually a bit of an MVP, because like that 4 toughness is definitely just enough to be annoying, while and that life drain effect is like is pretty steep as well by the time you actually get to play it. So yeah, Vampire Sovereign is really nice. I really like it. And then we've got 2 Diagraph Ghoul. This is a nice reprint from Innistrad. 1 black mana for a 2/2, enters the battlefield tapped, which is like such like a minor downside because you cast it first turn, hasn't got haste. You weren't going to attack with it anyway, you know. So whatever. Yeah, that's absolutely fine, I think. A single Gravedigger, lovely Gravedigger. Still putting the hours in. 3 in black for a 2/2 when it enters the battlefield. You return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. We all love that. And a single Reassembling Skeleton, which is one of my favourite black cards, actually. So 1 in a black for 1/1. You can spend 1 in a black to return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tap. So that's perfect fodder for the Demon of Catastrophes, isn't it? Just it eats a skeleton, and then the skeleton comes back next turn as if like it was no big deal. So yeah, really like this was included. A single Skeleton Archer, 3 in a black for a 3/3. When it ends the battlefield, does 1 damage to any target. So yeah, I suppose kill off an X1, or play it main phase 2, kill off a creature that only just survived combat, I suppose. It's the part of the exclusive club where its card name is the same as its creature type, which is always fun, always like that. 2 Skymarch Bloodletters, definitely feels like I just looked at these. I think this was in the Vraska Ixalan deck. Yeah, it's basically Windrake, 2 in a black for a 2/2 flyer. When it ends the battlefield, an opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Yeah, which is, I think that's perfectly fine for 3 mana. And then 2 Walking Corpse, just 1 in a black for a 2/2. So yeah, just Black Bear. Again, nice reprint from Innistrad here. And then, because it's an M19 deck, has a Meteor Golem like all the others. 7 mana for a 3/3 when it ends the battlefield, destroy a non-land permanent opponent controls. Yep, so this is nice. I mean, you're playing black, so you've actually got like a fair amount of removal anyway, but this is a nice way of hitting, maybe like enchantments and artifacts, which normally, obviously, black can't do anything about. So then we have a single Sovereign's Bite. Really wish there'd been more than one of these, because this again is really nice. Also, it, like in terms of artwork, it carries on from the Vampire Noble because she's munching on the guy who was just bowing to her, which is just really fun, I think. So 1 in the black, target player loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. I think for 2 mana at sorcery speed, that's actually pretty good. And if you had more than one of these in the deck, like you could really like put the pressure on, I think, quite early and for not much mana. So yeah, really like this actually. A single Strangling Spores, 3 in a black, instant speed, target creature gets -3/-3 10/10. Feels a bit expensive at 4 mana, but I suppose it's common. And I feel like this is kind of a period where like the removal is getting like a bit more expensive. So removal's getting more expensive and creatures getting bigger. So yeah, the games by this point I feel like definitely more about creatures than like efficient removal. Like this is still fine. Like -3/-3 is still okay. That's still going to kill a bunch of stuff, but yeah, 4 mana does make it feel quite expensive. But again, like I said, I suppose it's common, so it's fine. 2 Lich's Caress, 3 in double black to destroy type creature you can gain 3 life. So actually, there's actually a fair amount of life gain in this deck actually, which is kind of fun. Yeah, obviously this is kind of expensive and slow, but yeah, it's fine. It's a core set common. It's absolutely fine. But then we have 2 lovely murders, which is one of my favourite removal spells. 1 in double black, destroy target creature. No ifs, ands, or buts. Just kill it. It's dead. Instant speed. 3 mana. Like perfectly efficient, great kill spell. Love murder. Love there's 2 of them in here. And then we've got 2 Abnormal Endurance, 1 in a black. Until end turn, target creature gets +2/+0, and when it dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. So this is really nice that you get the death trigger and then it immediately comes back, so you could potentially also then get enters the battlefield triggers. So yeah, this is a really nice spell, and I feel like this is the first, or if not the first, it's one of the first, like, of a range of like black spells that do this. Actually, no. I want to say in Amonkhet there was Supernatural Stamina, something like that did almost exactly this effect. Anyway, whenever it shows up, I really like this, and I feel like it's become like it definitely feels like there were phases this effect was like really common in black. It was like a good cheap black combat trick to give a power boost, and this kind of like, oh, if it dies it just comes straight back. So yeah, really nice. I guess it's kind of a newish way of doing regeneration, I suppose. But yeah, I really like it. And then 2 Blood Divination, 3 in a black, sorcery speed, additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice creature, draw 3 cards. As discussed, sacrificing creature, not a huge drawback in this deck. This does still feel expensive though, at 4 mana and sorcery speed and sacrificing creature to draw 3. And I mean, I know we're not in blue, so like the card draw is not as good. But yeah, this feels like overcosted slightly by like, it feels like 3 mana and just sacrifice a creature, maybe. But yeah, I mean, it's still fine. It's still draw 3 for 4 mana and sacrifice a creature in a deck where you don't care about sacrificing creatures, so I guess it's fine. Yep, and then 26 Swamps. So yeah, let's talk about what could have been. I think what could have been fun about this is just have a bunch of zombies, make it zombie tribal, because there's definitely the tools to do it in Core 19. So you had Death Baron, which was a really nice reprint. I feel like this. No, I think that was a plain chase set where it got reprinted. Anyway, this it's one of its few reprints, and it's it's a really popular card. So 1 and double black for a 2/2. Skeletons you control and other zombies you control get +1/+1, have death touch. Pretty much all the creatures in the deck are skeletons or zombies, so this would have benefited a lot of creatures in the deck and made them really scary to deal with because they all have death touch. You got Graveyard Marshal, double black for a 3/2, which is like like really just good stats anyway in black. And then you spend 2 and a black, exile a creature card from your graveyard, and you make a zombie token, which that could have been fine. As an rare and an enchantment here, open the graves, 3 and double black. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you make a zombie token. I think that would have been fit better maybe than the Graveyard Marshal. Yeah, I think that would have been fun to include. And then you also could then just include some more zombies here. So you had Infectious Horror, which is a really nice reprint from Alara. 3 and black for a 2/2. Whenever it attacks, each opponent loses 2 life. Always like black creatures with this kind of effect. Like they make the opponent lose life whenever they just swing. Like before they even connect, you're still losing something when they swing, which is really nice. And then you had Two-Headed Zombie here, which is just 4 mana for a 4/2 with Menace, which would have been a bit of a pain to deal with. That could have fit in here quite nicely. And another nice core set staple, Rise from the Grave, 4 and a black to return a creature from any graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, and it becomes a black zombie in addition to other colours and types. And if you, I said included stuff, if you, I don't know, the Death Baron, then it could have got bonuses from that. I don't know. But yeah, so I suppose there were options here to make it into a fairly decent kind of zombie tribal deck. Had the the bones for it, pun intended, I suppose. But yeah, it's also nice that there are the vampires in here as well. Especially, I really like that Vampire Sovereign. Really great card, and the Sovereigns by both really great cards. So yeah, overall, I think this one's actually pretty good. Actually, out of all the M19 ones we looked at so far, this is probably in my running for the favourite one so far. Yeah, just because I think it's pretty cool. But I'd like to hear what you think of it as well. If you think it's pretty cool, you got any thoughts or stories or comments, opinions about the deck or any of the cards in it? Stick a comment below. I'll give those a read. I always do. Always like doing that. But I'll be back next time going to look at another M19 Planeswalker deck. But until then, thanks for watching and listening, and have a great day.